Hello and welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. Okay, take 8. We've been going through base cards. We're continuing base cards here. Transformers TCG family. Glad you're here. Glad you're following. Thanks for the views. Now, what we're going to be going in is we're still in my last file. Now, I've been adding a little bit to this file. So there's 39 bases here in total. We've gone over about a dozen or a baker's dozen of these already. Unfortunately, because I have one now called Autobase. I was actually reading one of the UK comics, and I've had them for a long time. And I may have read them and forgotten them. I was looking at one, and I'm like, ooh, cool, some places in here. So Autobase, since it begins with an A, is now number 2 in this file. Beach is no longer number 2. It is number 3. Oops. Autobase is kind of a defensive card on the flip, but it's got some bold in the text. Let's see what it is. It is an Autobot faction card that is blue-green. The Autobot symbol is on the green, so the Autobots can get this on the flip and run to Autobase. So each Autobase will have bold 2 until end of turn. Each mercenary has oppress 2 tough for battle. So mercenaries, it's not going to hurt the Decepticons by any means, but it's going to prevent mercenaries from flipping the extra tough. And we have the good reminder, a character cannot have tough less than 0. It is rare for what it is, and pretty simple, just pretty simple. Moving on, I believe up next is Cybertron Tunnels. I've been working on some of these, and it's just been taking me a good bit to get these how I really want them. Cybertron Tunnels is orange and green. If you notice, the only mercenaries are going to be able to get make this an aggressive card on the flip. Only Autobots are going to be able to actually run to the Cybertron Tunnels on the swap. So each mercenary is going to be able to have bold 1. You may play another Cybertron Tunnels and keep this base card in play. This is unusual. I've never done or tried this with a base card. So if this is the third Cybertron Tunnels, each player may take an upgrade from their scrap and put it on an Autobot they control. So if you are playing nothing but Autobots, you can be able to get the treasure at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Because originally I had it to where, and yeah, the verbiage on the bottom, a base card is in play once introduced, and it remains in play until another base card is played. But then you have to go back up the top, and you have to take this for what it's worth. Don't take that too literally here, because Cybertron Tunnels, if your opponent plays another Cybertron Tunnels on top of yours, it's just going to add to it. It's not going to knock it out. It's the only instance that I'm trying this out, okay? So you can play another Cybertron Tunnels on top of this one, but it might be best to wait till they're all in your hand. So it might be middle near end game to be able to get all 3 in play. And when that does, both of y'all across the table are going to be able to take an upgrade from your scrap and put it on an Autobot they control. Now, if your opponent is not playing Autobots, then they're not going to be able to do that now, are they? So you'll be able to get that fusion bore or grenade launcher or whatever, because if you're playing these, you're already playing casual as it is anyway. So yeah, and if you are playing with 3 base cards in your deck, then you have to have a space bridge, technically, from my original rules. So there's that as well. Okay, so this would have to be the 3 base cards that you're wanting, and to be able to pull this off, you can do that, and it doesn't go in your hand. It immediately can be played. So, and it's not, it can be any upgrade. Like I said, you want a brass knuckles, and it's in your scrap, put it on your Autobot. You have a flamethrower, fusion bore, like I said, grenade launcher, a matrix, and it's in your scrap, put it on your Autobot. A little strong. But if your opponent is playing Autobots, they can do the same thing. Or if they have an Autobot, they can do the same thing. As long as they have a scrap. As long as you have a scrap, you have an upgrade in it. Boom, you get the treasure at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Originally, I had this where you got Safeguard 3 with undamaged characters. And then I thought, well, let's make this sturdy instead, because that would be kind of silly trying to get Safeguard. So a sturdy 3 made more sense. And I'm thinking, let me just scratch all this. Let's be able to get and play upgrade out of our scrap. So that just makes a little more sense to the card. And this is an image from the UK comic, just like Autobase was. I think Autobase, even though it doesn't look like it, it was flipped. But Cybertron Tunnels is also flipped, because if you have that comic or that trade paperback, you'll notice Hot Rod is coming from the right, not from the left. Up next, let's look at the military hangar. Oh, and the Cybertron Tunnels, I've been putting them up there, is an Autobot faction card, and you can have a mercenary faction card. So if you're looking for mercenaries and you can play Cybertron Tunnels, you can play 3, you can get your mercenaries an extra bold 3 from your 3 base cards on top of your supercharge or your brass knuckles or whatever, and go a heavy bold or in flamethrowers, etc., etc. So things and interesting things to notice and take advantage of, if you want to go that route. So there's that. Now up next, let's look at military hangar. Military hangar is also orange green. When the tights come up, when the mites come up, the tights come down, as my grandfather always said. So in this case, the planes point up, the seekers point down. Since seekers are always Decepticons, and from the original G1 show, they were the seekers. This is a Decepticon card because it has the Seeker trait. That's why the Decepticon faction is on this card. If you're wondering, it's like, well, why is it Decepticon card? Well, that's why. Oh, the cat's got into this wire. Each Seeker, plane, and helicopter has bold 1 for battle. Originally, I didn't have helicopters on here, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is a military hangar. It needs to help helicopters too. So, and don't get this mixed up with airport hangar. Airport hangar is black and green. The pips are not idiomatic, and it's a little more risky, but you'll be able to get stealth with your planes and helicopters and get them tough 1 for battle while airport hangar is in play. So it's more Russian roulette trying to get the airport hangar to trigger on the defensive if it hasn't been knocked out by an opponent's base card. Even when I tend to try and test some of these in my games, in mock games, I don't always get my base cards. So 1 base card can be in play for many turns until it's finally knocked out by either the same side playing it, or eventually maybe the other side finally playing a base card. And I've come to realize I don't always put in those cards to be able to knock or keep them out. Very often, I normally am playing anything else. So playing these mock games, trying to test a little of this out. So back to military hangar. Seekers, planes, and helicopters have bold 1 for battle. Each car and truck has oppressed 1 tough for battle. Tough cannot be less than 0. So just the good reminder text there. So, of course, cars and trucks. I did not have tanks on here. I thought about adding tanks, but I didn't. So, something neat, something interesting. So, especially if you're playing Combaticons, this would really help them. Well, no, it really wouldn't. You have Vortex. Swindle and Onslaught are trucks. Brawl is a tank. And Blast Off is a spaceship. So, yeah, it would only just help the helicopter. And hurt Onslaught and Swindle probably. So, maybe not for your Combaticons, but if you're playing planes, trains, and automobiles. No. Seekers and planes and helicopters, throw in a 4-star helicopter, get a seeker and a plane, maybe an official plane, maybe an ARC seeker or something, and have fun with it. See what happens. Up next is Mining Camp. Mining Camp is interesting. And if you notice, there's a circle around the star, which means if this is being played with a space bridge, the star doesn't count. If it's being played without a space bridge, the star counts. Okay, that's that. If you remember that video, that's how that works. Mining camp is orange and green. Melee characters get the attack. Each time a secret action is revealed, put a counter on this base card. Each counter on this adds +1 health to each active melee character. Not just yours, but your opponent's too. Of course, you don't want your character to be tied to their health, to be tied to their base card, to the base card. If they're really low on health, your opponent plays a base card, knocks it out, boom, they're KO'd. So things to think about. But it would be something neat to try to get in early in the game. Play your Skywarps and your Tarantulas of mine or something that characters that really lean on secret actions. Get some, and of course those are ranged characters actually. Well, Tarantulas may be melee in one of his modes. I can't remember right off. And I do have two different Tarantulases. We have regular Tarantulas and Transmetal Tarantulas, if I remember correctly. And they're both hybrid faction characters. So there's that. But this is or you can just simply play all melee characters to be able to get the orange on the flip each time and get all of them help get extra health. And yeah, I don't have to have the plus question mark there. I think it looks cool, so it's there to get your attention to go, oh, this is giving health to who? I need to read this. And your opponent can look at this also. They have melee characters. You're getting counters on this. Each time a secret action is revealed. Whose secret action? Anybody's. If y'all are going back and forth, you reveal a secret action, not when it's played, not when it's upside down, but when it's revealed. Boom. It's like you're mining counters with the secret actions to get the counters on mining camp, which is going to increase your melee character's health. Okay? So that is how that works. Pretty simple, but neat. I've never tried doing something like that. Let's keep going. Mount Verona. Hybrid white, black, and a green. There's a lot going on here, but again, this is coming from the UK comic. The same trade that I pulled the Cybertron Tunnels from. I believe it was Death's Head and Ultra Magnus, and Ultra Magnus got thrown into lava. I don't know if he survived or not. I haven't gotten any further than that. So each Decepticon attacking a character with equal star as it has +2 to attack until end of turn. So it has that combat enemy analysis going for it, but it's only for the attack, not for the defense. And it's going to help Decepticons get an edge on attack. Each Autobot leader has -1 defense for battle. So, yeah, you definitely want to put this neat hybrid white-black with your Decepticons and get them a little more attack. Are you ready to press the advantage back into your casual gameplay already? So, there is that, Mount Verona. Pretty simple. Let's keep going. And Mount Verona is a Decepticon faction card only. Since the Autobots Autobot leaders are losing 1 defense, which isn't much, but everything counts. Each Paradron. Paradron is up next. It is a planet. I forgot. That's where Sandstorm came from, I think. I think this is from a G1 episode where Sandstorm in season 3. But don't quote me on that. I can't remember. White, green. Each Autobot can't have Pierce for battle. So yeah, we also had Human Distraction, which reduces an attacker's Pierce by 3, and that's across the table. I found myself not wanting to play that base card, but this one with Paradron if again, this is going to help Decepticons because the Autobots, you're going to be taking away their pierce. When a player's chosen player character attacks, they may scrap a Black Pip upgrade equipped from the chosen character, and that character gets bold 2 for battle. So, do you want that fusion borer, or do you want to scrap it and get bold 2? As an example. So there's Paradron. I'm running out of time. I think that's all I have time for right now. So we got to go over Autobase, Cybertron Tunnels. Did we go over that? Military hangar, mining camp, Mount Verona, and Paradron. We'll see you next time. Don't have just a great day. Have a blessed day. And as always, Autobots, flip out and let's roll for it.